Welcome back to my series on essential knots. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a clove hitch, both on a fixed point as well as in line. This is a knot that we use in climbing, but it has many practical applications for everyday life purposes. I'm Clarice, welcome to the Live Ready channel. I know knot making can seem very intimidating, especially when you're just getting started out. And that's why it's really great to have some simple knots to start with. And a clove hitch is exactly that. It's really simple to do. Now, I know there are some guys on YouTube who make this look really good. Believe me, I've seen the videos. But basically, to make a clove hitch, you start off with your working end, which is the short part that you're going to work with. And what I've dropped to the ground is the standing end. So I've got my fixed point. Right, so that's my tree. I'm going to go over the tree once. Here's my working end. I go over the tree a second time. Now I'm starting to form an X here, or a cross with my rope. I go underneath the cross and I'm going to thread the working end underneath that X. And when we're doing hitches, we want them to tension on themselves. So that's why I want to be right underneath that X. Now I'm going to pull taut and I'm going to dress it in such a way that I'm sure that my working end is pressed underneath that X. And this is a knot that's really secure, but it's also easy to undo. As long as I'm putting pressure on the standing end of this rope, right, this line's not going to come undone. Neither is it going to come undone if I pull on the working end. As long as it remains underneath that X, it's going to tension on itself, and I have a really secure knot that I can work with. Now I can take this line and I can attach it, and I can set up a ridge line for a top. I would do this instead of doing a running bow line around a tree and then do a trucker's hitch on the other end. If you haven't seen my video on trucker's hitches yet, go and check that one out. It is in this series of videos. The other use that I have for this is usually if I'm building rafts, or if I need to attach the end of my line to a fixed point, or start off a fixed point on a line. This is the way I would do it. Now, there is another way that we use clove hitches, and it's usually in climbing. Now, this is not something that I would recommend for climbing purposes, but to show you from a practical perspective how we use clove hitches in line and climbing, I'm going to do an inline clove hitch as well. Right, to make this really easy, I'm going to use what is actually now my working end, and this is my standing end. But I'm going to come quite close to my knot here because I'm just about to suspend myself from the tree. So I take my line, I cross my hands over. I'm going to make Mickey Mouse ears by bringing my hands across one another, and now my rope has crossed over there. Now I'm going to take my two Mickey Mouse ears and I'm going to fold them over one another, just like that. Now I can clip something onto that. Whether it's the seat of a swing or a beaner or my harness or anything like that, I now have a clove hitch in my line that I can trust with my own body weight. Now again, like I said, this is not something that I would do for rock climbing purposes, but if you're building a swing, for example, or you want to hang your bag from a tree, for which a marling spike hitch is actually really great as well. But if you do want to suspend something in line, that's how you can do it quite easily with a clove hitch and a beaner or anything else that you can put on it. So if I didn't have a carabiner here, I could have made the clove hitch, made the Mickey Mouse ears, folded them across one another, and basically just stuck a toggle in there, and I would have something to suspend my bag from, or to hang a pot from, or anything like that. The other advantage of using a clove hitch is that it's really easy to undo. And sometimes when we've tensioned knots, it can be a little bit more tricky to start just getting that wiggle room in there. I really recommend just keeping something like a multi-tool or a Leatherman. You can just use it to wiggle some of the tighter parts loose, and then your clove hitch should come undone really easily. But for most of the time, especially just for bushcraft purposes, it's quite easy to undo a clove hitch if you just like made it in paracord or something. I'm now tensioning these knots with my own body weight here, so I might have an interesting time. And as soon as I've introduced a little bit of slack into my knot, then it comes undone really easily. And that's it. No struggling to get the knot out of your line. If you've liked this video and you found value here, remember to hit like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. I post a bit more of the everyday Live Ready stuff on there as well. And here and there's a hint of what's to come to the YouTube channel in future. Until the next time, Live Ready.